suddenly felt ready. No clear switch, no clean start, just a point where staying the same felt worse than trying. I used to wait for motivation to show up first, like it was something that had to find me. But most days it didn't, and nothing moved. So I started moving without it. Small things at first, nothing impressive, just showing up even when it felt pointless. It wasn't exciting, it wasn't inspiring, but it built something I didn't notice right away. You don't feel stronger instantly, you don't feel different overnight, but something shifts when you keep going anyway. Growth isn't built on perfect days, it's built on days you almost quit when you still take one step forward, even when you're not feeling it. Motivation doesn't always lead, sometimes it follows behind. After you start moving, after you decide, I stopped waiting to feel ready, because ready never really came. It was always just another excuse to stay where I was. Some days still feel heavy, some days don't make sense, but they don't stop me the same way they used to. I learned that discipline is quieter. It doesn't feel like motivation, it feels like doing something without needing a reason. It's not about pushing harder, it's about not stopping completely. Even when progress is slow, it's still progress. Growth isn't built on perfect days, it's built on days you almost quit when you still take one step forward, even when you're not feeling it. Motivation doesn't always lead, sometimes it follows behind. After you start moving, after you decide. I used to look for a spark, something that would change everything, but now I trust the process more than the feeling. Because feelings change, but actions stay, and over time they build something real. Still showing up, still learning, not perfect, just consistent. Growth keeps going. It didn't break all at once, no single moment where everything fell apart. Just small cracks that I ignored for too long. reach you, but it shows up anyway in the smallest moments. A broken heart doesn't shatter in a second. It slowly pulls itself apart in quiet moments you don't expect, when everything starts to feel too far. A broken heart doesn't always scream. Sometimes it barely makes a sound, just a weight that stays with you, even when no one's around. I thought time would fix it faster, that distance would make it lighter, but it doesn't work like that. It just changes shape. It becomes quieter, less sharp, less heavy, but still there in ways you don't expect. It doesn't hurt the same, but it hasn't disappeared, just different, just distant. A broken heart still healing. A broken heart still healing.
It didn't happen all at once. No clear moment where everything changed. Just small shifts. That started adding up. I used to think growth would feel like progress, like moving forward in a straight line. But most of the time, it just felt like standing still and thinking, letting go of things I thought I needed, realizing some habits were just noise. Not everything I carried was actually mine to keep. Some days didn't look like growth at all, just quiet, just slow. But something underneath was still moving. You don't notice it immediately, it doesn't announce itself, but one day you'll react differently, and that's when you see it. Growth isn't loud, it doesn't ask for attention. It happens in moments no one else sees. When you choose calm instead of reaction, when you finally let some things be. Growth doesn't feel like becoming someone new. It feels like returning to something real. Less noise, less pressure, just knowing how to deal. I stopped trying to control everything, not because I gave up, but because I understood some things don't need control. I started listening more than speaking, watching more than reacting, letting things unfold instead of forcing outcomes. easy to miss, but the weight gets lighter without you noticing. When growth isn't loud, it doesn't ask for attention. It happens in moments no one else sees. When you choose calm instead of reaction, when you finally let some things be. Growth doesn't feel like becoming someone new. It feels like returning to something real. Less noise, less pressure, just knowing how to deal. I used to look for big changes, something obvious, something clear. But now I see it in small things and how I